Hello everyone, let's talk about another medium problem on Leetcode called compare versions. It states that given two versions, version 1 and version 2, we return -1 if version 1 is less than version 2, and +1 if version 1 is more than version 2. Otherwise, we will return 0. So it's very similar to Java compare to function or similar functions in other languages. And then they also define what does version mean, right? So it says that version is what do you say, revision, which actually contains numbers joined by dot, and these numbers may have leading zeros. So for example, 1.01 or 1.001, and then they state that um, even though they may be like having what do you say, leading zeros or trailing zeros, the important thing is we read them from left to right, and they can have as many parts as possible. And then they say that, for example, 1.1 is more than version 1.0, and then they have given some more examples. So see this interesting example where it says 1.01 is more than 1.001. So basically, this is 1, but this is also it's also read as like 1.1, right? Similarly, here, if it's 1.0, then also you see the number of parts are different. Like this one has only two parts, 1 and 0. This one has three parts, 1, 0, 0, and still the version is same, right? Because 1.0 is always same as 1.0.0. And here we return -1 because version 1 is less than version 2, because it's just 0.1 and this is already 1.1. So now that we have understood the problem, let's jump into the coding part. So if we look at it carefully, we can see that, okay, we can have many number of cases. Like one can be like we have a string like this 1.0, we can have 1.0.0, right? Or we can have 1.0.0.0, something like this. So the important thing is, like, they all represent the same thing. So these zeros don't mean anything. If so the number of parts, so the 1.0 is same as 1.0 or 1.000, and because there are two versions, I think the important edge case that we should handle is like we have to compare all the strings from left to right when we say split it up by dots, because those are the tokens, and then we compare the numbers here. If they are same, then it's 0 already. Again, they are same here, so not existing number or part will be treated same as 0. And they also show that 1.01 is actually equal to 1.001. So technically what they are saying is, like, if we parse this number as integer, this is 1, right? And this is also 1. Similarly, if we parse these two parts, it's again 1 and 1. So basically, the versions are actually same because of that. So any number of trailing zeros will not change the version. Um, One solution which is possible is, like, we split up the strings, traverse from left to right, compare the numbers one by one, parse and traverse the numbers one by one. And if at any point, say version 1 is more than version 2, we return +1. Similarly, if at any point, if version 1 is less than version 2, we return -1. Otherwise, we will reach the end of the loop and return 0 in that case, because the strings will be equal. So now let's jump into the code part. So a tricky part here is, like, we have to handle the scenario where if one of the string is 1.0 and another one is 1.0.0, so we can convert the first string as 1.0.0 in the code. And now let's jump into the code part. So we have two strings, right? And what we can do is, like, we can say we can split the strings into two parts. So one can be uh, we can say, okay, split version 1, and what we can use is this, because we can use dot to split it, but in Java, dot is treated like a regex in the string, so it will mean any character. So to do this, we have to what you say, quote out that character and explicitly use dot, because this is what we want to do. Similarly, we will do the same thing for version 2. Now what we will do is, like, whichever has maximum parts, we will, because some strings can have 3 parts, another one will have 2 parts. We have to make sure that whenever we read from left to right, we read equal number of parts. So what we can say is, like, uh, parts is math dot max v1 dot length and v2 dot length. And because it's string, so we have to use length function instead of length attribute. And now that we have it, what we will do is, like, we will start looping on any of the string which has the maximum number of parts. And now we will compare number by number. So first number will be int, and one will be, say, v1. Yeah, if I is less than v1 dot length, right, then only we can iterate over the string. So what we will do is, or we can index, get to the index of this array v1. And what here we will do is, like, we will get, in this case, we will get v1I, otherwise we will get 0, right? Because if it's not present, that means this number is actually 0. Similarly, we will do the same thing with the second string. And this time I'm using length as a, oh, I should have used the length as a attribute, because yeah, these are string arrays, not string values. So yeah, v1, yeah, if it's less than v2 dot length, in that case we will get v2I, otherwise we will again get 0. So now that we have that in place, we can say if n1 is greater than n2, in this case we will return what you say, uh, +1, right? And we will directly return, because we already found that number is the versions part, this part is already higher from left to right, and the precedence comes from left to right rather than from right to left. Similarly, if n2 is greater, sorry, yeah, n2 is greater than n1, that means we return -1. Otherwise, I think the loop will continue and we will return 0. So now let's try to run this code if it works. There are some compilations issues. So it says that incompatible types. Because I'm expecting integer. So I should do integer dot parse int v1I, right? Similarly, we will do the same thing for this guy here. Now let's run the code. We got a wrong answer here. So it says that I'm getting 0, but here the answer should have been -1. So let's see why that's the case. So I am saying if I is less than v1 dot length, then we should have gotten integer dot parse in v1I. So if n1 is more than n2, sorry, my bad. I think I should have done this. Yeah, I think I kept a wrong condition here, or I could have also done this n1 is less than n2 just to be consistent. Then I think that should have been the case. Now let's run the code. Yeah, now let's submit the code and hopefully this works. Awesome. I hope this solution was useful to you. If it was, please like and share the video. Have a nice rest of the day. Thank you.